This is the Run Home with Fletch and Scope. All thanks to MBRX, footy tipping, content and rewards, all in one place with $2 million prize pool. MBRX.com, have your say. Ring in, rip in 1300 01 1170. Mitchie.
On the Run Home, it's the NRL Transfer Market Update. Subscribe to the Run Home with Joel and Fletch YouTube channel and get inside the studio.
Okay, so it looks like the Zac Lomax saga has wrapped up with the Melbourne Storm anyway. So Zac Lomax can't return to the NRL until October 31st, 2027, unless Parramatta gives written permission. The new timeline allows Zac to return 12 months earlier than originally stipulated, so it was supposed to be 2028. Melbourne Storm will pay the $250,000 of Parramatta's legal costs as a part of the out-of-court settlement. Parramatta also launched proceedings to stop Lomax joining Melbourne, arguing his release to join 360 required the ongoing consent. Yep. The Eels rejected multiple previous statements, including one involving salary cap relief related to Ryan Madison. And by the sounds of it, boys, I'm sure you would have talked about this yesterday. This would have been breaking while you were on air yesterday, Bears Head?
Yeah, we did, yeah.
It feels like, not Zac Lomax, but Ryan Madison is the piece of the puzzle that sort of ended an agreement that would have probably seen Zac Lomax end up at Melbourne.
Yeah, well, that and the fact that it wasn't mentioned anywhere who Parramatta wanted. I know they mentioned Stefano, but that was never brought up, was it? You know, as a player swap?
Well, I think the four names that were linked originally that I can remember were Stefano, Xavier Coates, Will Warbrick, and the centre, Howarth.
Okay, but was that ever been made public?
I don't know if that was legit or rumours,
well,
but
Warbrick would have been a like for like ish.
All four of those would have been.
Yeah.
I don't think it was more so getting a winger back just because Zac Lomax was winger. I think it was the level of player that they're looking for.
Yeah.
And I don't like who knows what. We'll never know now because it didn't end up going through as well.
No.
The part that I think out of yesterday that really surprised me, or the day before, was that it got settled so quickly just before they were about to jump on, which makes me think, what did Parramatta have on?
Oh no, I just think I think both parties just knew that it was just going to
it was going to drag on.
The legal fees just would have gone through the roof.
Yeah.
So Melbourne were out of pocket $250K and got diddly squat for it.
Yeah, heavy.
And I also think that the text message that Andrew Abdo was that came to light,
yep.
I reckon the NRL just backed off a little bit.
Yeah, makes sense.
Because Peter Vellani was saying, well, we don't want to lose a star player to rugby union. I feel that because that Abdo text was made public, I think they put the brakes on a little bit. Just
that makes sense. But to my point, Bears Ed, like that was that a part of the subpoena that was brought up because they had that information?
Yeah.
Do you reckon there are any other text messages around?
Oh, for sure,
yeah.
Definitely.
So then they've gone. We're already copping backlash from this original one.
There might be some WhatsApp text messages. Those WhatsApps I get. All those. If I show you these ones.
All right, so today, via the Daily Telegraph as well, Zac Lomax has been seen leaving Rugby Australia headquarters. In a sign, the former Parramatta Eels may be weighing a move to the Wallabies ahead of the Rugby World Cup. So there you go.
You can't fault the Eels for their stance, but like seeing photos of him going to rugby, it's like you could have got probably, like you said, a Warbrick, a Howarth maybe. I don't know where the negotiations are. They sort of walk away with a bit of cap space, right?
Yeah.
Which doesn't guarantee you getting anyone in particular, another Origin player, or, you might be able to re-up some of your young stars. But, yeah, it's like you were saying before, like seeing him go to rugby and see him there now, straight after that. That's exactly what a lot of people didn't want.
Yeah, I feel a bit sorry for him now. I feel a bit sorry for Zac.
But that's fine for him. I totally understand. But the whole premise of keeping him in the league and maybe, we just got to move some players around just to keep him in NRL could have happened. But it didn't. And now he's at Rugby Australia.
I think he won't be playing for Melbourne, but, excuse me, I feel he'll be playing for another NRL.
I'm not opposed to Zac Lomax. All along, I haven't been opposed to Zac Lomax playing again in the NRL.
No.
My big thing is... if Parramatta aren't going to get compensation like they weren't with some of the players they were looking for Parramatta, then they're like, sorry, Zac, all right, if we can't get anything back, well, then you're not going to you're not going to play against us and make it even worse.
Correct.
So that's the part for Parramatta. And I hope, I'm with you, I like watching Zac the player. I hope Zac gets a spot and can return to the NRL as long as there's some we talked about it with that text message. That looks like a good one, Bears, from before.
Yeah, so David Riccio writes about in the Telegraph. He says the Eels have entered the race for New South Wales prop State of Origin and Warriors prop Mitch Barnett. That would be great if he can. Zac can go to the Warriors.
Yeah.
Would Zac? Okay. Yeah, this is the thing. Would Zac want to go to the Warriors?
Exactly. And that's the point. That's the sort of flip side with players. See, I wouldn't have wanted players from the Melbourne Storm to be moved on to account for Zac as well.
Yeah.
But if there was a player in a situation who might not be playing regular first grade or might think they're in a position where they've sort of fallen behind or for whatever reason, maybe a young aspiring player, that could make sense for Para.
Yeah.
Like send him to another team and they could have a position of need. It might not be outside backs, but they get a middle forward or a 5'8" with promise because Pezzet's moving on next year, Bez.
Yeah. So what do you reckon Brian Kelly was on? So was there a swapsies there or they just pinched?
No, they
Brian
got
Kelly?
Brian Kelly after the fact.
Yeah.
So I think the money that they freed up from Zac.
He might have been on 400 or 500, Brian Kelly.
I think so.
So
yeah.
they've still got 250 sitting in the cap somewhere.
Yep. And then that's not like I think Parramatta as well. And Brooksy, you can probably chip in with this as well. With when you make moves on a salary cap the year before. I'm talking about Gutherson. I'm talking about Regan Campbell-Gillard. I think Mike Acevo still had a year left on his contract. Bryce Cartwright. So they did clear a lot of space in the year before as well. Do you know if that lingers on and goes into the second year? So there might be a part of Zac Lomax's contract that gets trimmed off because of it.
Well, that's
Does that make sense?
I think it will. Yeah. Well, at the moment, they've released him, right? So he's not going to get the money that he was going to get in that 4-year deal. So technically, it's salary cap space for them.
Okay. We might move on from Zac, eh? We've done with Zac.
Yeah, done enough of it?
Zac
Yeah,
attack.
sweet.
Zac attack. But I want to hear you talk about, Rolsey and Mitch Barnett. Because Mitch Barnett, this is the one where clubs will be clamouring. In the background, they'll be going, we've got to move players around because we want to have a crack at
For sure.
again. And Jason Riles on his interest on big Mitchy Barnett.
Yeah, certainly someone we'd potentially look at, yeah. He's an origin forward. I think that's an area of our roster that we can certainly improve or strengthen is probably a better word than improve, strengthen. So, I think us, like many clubs, will be obviously looking in that space.
And your man, don't forget your man's this is his last year there, Russell.
Oh, Sean Russell. Yeah. He's off next year as well.
He's
the love muscle.
He's already gone.
Yeah.
So they might be a little bit thin out wide.
Yep. I like the idea of Mitchy Barnett because they've got sort of a small ball they try to copy the Bulldogs a little bit.
Yeah.
The Parramatta Eels under Riles as well. So Mitch Barnett, I reckon he'll suit any forward pack. To be fair.
Yeah, it's just about where he wants to go. Like it's his choice. Newcastle will be great. I wonder if he's sitting back going, oh, geez, I'll make my decision halfway through the year when I'll see how good Newcastle are going or how good Parramatta are going.
I think the Eels not getting someone for Lomax is going to expedite the Barnett signing because the cap space from the Eels, now they can go to Barnett and go, well, we didn't get a player back from the Storm. We've got this much for you.
Do you think Cameron George, different circumstances, completely different with Zac was going to go over to a rival code. Mitch Barnett's made it known that it's a family situation. Do you think that factors in at all with the way that the Warriors treat it from their end as well, considering the way that they've seen Parramatta deal with Zac?
Yeah, and it would be good for them too to be able to get this done earlier so they get more time to work out who they replace him with.
Oh, look at this. Dougie from Melbourne. I don't know.
Yes, here we go.
AKA Belzer. Boys, Sean Blaw would have been the perfect swap, says Dougie from Melbourne.
What's the latest with Sean Blaw? He's
got the neck issue.
Yeah, he's banged up as well at the moment.
So Dougie, Dougie, is it Dougie or Craig? He wants to move on an injured bloke to get a international winger. Fair enough, Dougie. You can't have them all. Yeah, well, he's not going to go to Melbourne. So
Melbourne's done. Melbourne's done. And rugby union, he would be the sort of guy that he'd go good in union too, Zac.
Well, I was saying I don't know. I know zero about the game, but Chadwick was saying that if you play him on the wing, that's probably the easiest position to acclimatise.
Yeah.
Just sit on the wing and just boom.
Does he want to play centres though?
We can't play inside centre. That's a whole different game.
Look
at all the
it feels like that's been the issue.
Corabidi, Rat.
Yep.
Who else went over there? Crossy.
Did Swar let you play on the wing early before he moved
Of
in?
course he did.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's get into the Storm and Eels.
Mm.
There are so many storylines out of this game, storylines that were settled in court 2 days ago.
Yeah.
But let's go through the history. So this all, I guess the biggest one that a lot of Eels fans and Storm fans were talking about is the 2009 Grand Final. We just talked about that before too, didn't we, Bears Head?
Yep. Is that when Fui scores in the corner, one of the great Grand Final
Yes,
tries?
that was a good try.
Yeah. Nathan is that when Nathan cried at the end of the game? Cried like a baby.
you got to ask Connie.
I
When are
think
you going to
he
see
did.
him next?
Yeah, I'll see him tomorrow, unfortunately.
Okay. So that's a big part of it. Obviously, the dramas that have been going on. This is sneaky. I like this sneaky little rivalry between Riles and his former boss,
Yeah.
Craig Bellamy.
And the fact they could break the hoodoo. This could be it's been 23 years, 24 years, 23 years that they've won the first round. They're the most vulnerable now.
I agree.
No back rowers, no Xavier Coates. Jerome is back.
Yeah.
No Pappy.
No happy. Can I Bruce about my podcast a little bit and a guest that I had on?
You can
yesterday?
Bruce. Just what level of brucing?
Levels Network.
Levels.
Yeah,
Top level.
Yeah, top level.
It's a top level. The best. So it's dropping tomorrow. So this is an exclusive from our podcast. Teaser for tomorrow. Anyway, had a chat to Money, talking about some of the younger guys.
Just tell every listeners, they're not au fait with nicknames.
Sorry. Cameron Munster.
Yep. I call him Money though.
Yep. We call him Money.
Sorry.
We had a chat to Cam.
Yep.
And he was very bullish about a few guys that are going to get some opportunities. So the back rowers are both getting a crack. Joe Chan, Ativalu Lasati.
Yep.
But he loves Cooper Clark coming off the bench.
Okay.
And he told me it's normally, Harry, Pappy when he was there, all of those sorts of guys winning in the conditioning drills. He reckons Cooper Clark's right up there, which is, if you think about what Melbourne are, what Bellamy froths on, it's those sorts of players that, they're just guns. And he's a New South Welshman too, he said.
Is he a back rower?
He's a hybrid back rower, front rower.
All right.
And he won the Jersey Flag with the Storm last year with Hugo Peel, who we seen a little bit of in the pre-season as well.
All right, I'm going to ask you this. The Moses Leo in the centres and Nick Meaney on the wing, do you feel they're going to run out like that?
I thought about that when I initially seen the team list, that there might be a swap, but then that feels so obvious. So it's the Uno reverse, potentially, the double bluff.
You're right. Maybe they're thinking
if you were to
Moses being not protected, but maybe he feels more comfortable rather than being out on the wing. You know what I mean? Like they put him at centres, and then he's got Nick Meaney outside him, and he'll have the right back rower, I'd imagine.
So my thing, Bears Head, would it not make sense if you were going to play Nick Meaney and throw a curveball that you name Nick Meaney in the centres and then he plays on the wing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So
like
this is too obvious.
I think they're going. I think that's how they're going to line up.
All right, because Moses went okay on the wing. I thought he went okay on the wing. But
he was carry. I saw a couple of games in the pre-season. Big, strong lad, carries the ball really strong, and Nick Meaney, he can play anywhere in the back line.
You forget about how in the centres, in the grand final, Jack Howarth was gone in the first 10 minutes. Remember he did the groin? You forget, and they were cruising too. Melbourne.
Yeah, they were. They
got to half time, and it was.
So, do you reckon? Here's a hypothetical: with that grand final, if under the current rules with a 6-man bench, and they were able to put a like for like out in the centres, so who moved out?
I think the Chan dog did, didn't he?
He did too, Joe Chan.
Was
So
Wishart?
and Wishart a little bit.
Or, I think Wishart was, because he was kind of getting a little bit
yeah.
caught out, wasn't he?
You're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
was
It was
too.
Wishart. That was sort of underrated, that injury. But who was going to stop Walsh? We didn't. Or was it because Walsh got a sniff and then off he went?
Yep.
And then they just couldn't stop him.
They were relentless. Actually, they went up. Now that I'm looking back on it, didn't they have all the joy down the left anyway against Nick Meaney with Shibasaki? Shibasaki scored a
Yeah,
double,
he got a
didn't he?
double.
Yeah, so it was the other edge that they attacked.
Did you see Fox League do it every year, get in the theatre and go through with the winning grand final team? Wouldn't it be good to see the losing team do that?
Just blame each other.
Like just seeing like missed opportunities,
That'd be
like
good
not
content.
necessarily pointing fingers, but
They couldn't bring
just
that
like
up.
it'd be good
there's
to
some
watch.
Dark,
I think,
I've
if
had
you're
some
the other
dark
16
videos.
teams.
Gus was awful, just putting everyone on show. I used to hate it. Like you've mucked up, and the video's coming on the Tuesday. We used to actually, Natty Wood I remember stuck super glue in the video recorder one day.
So
we
you couldn't watch it.
Yeah, we didn't watch it.
Do you know what Stephen Kearney used to do? So you'd have just say there were 20 clips that you're going to do and review or preview, and if it was review, then a clip comes up and you didn't know whether it was good or bad, but you had your initial next to it.
Oh.
Yeah, and I was lowercase because we had Hainsey as well, so JH.
Oh, yeah.
So
He wouldn't have got that.
They called you Soft J.
lowercase J.
Lowercase J.
Lowercase J, so it'd be JH, obviously, and for the most part, you'd think Hainsey highlights, good stuff,
Yeah.
and I'd just be going, that's a low light for sure. They were coming up for me, lowercase.
There was a coach who was either very lazy or had no idea.
Oh, come on.
No, I can't tell. I
Okay,
can't tell.
fair enough.
He wouldn't cut the video. He would put the Channel 9 broadcast on. This is a long time ago. And then Sterlo would say something, and then he would go, bang, see? See?
No, he didn't.
I swear to God. I swear to God.
Using Sterlo as a
Sterlo.
coach.
Correct.
That's what you did wrong there.
That's what he
Sterlo
wrote.
says.
So, look, yeah,
As
he
you
goes,
freeze the play here.
freeze the
that
play.
was
You just listen what
Sterlo's-
Sterlo says to
That's
you.
the best.
Oh.
Little young Jack, a little Johnny in the corner there. Did you see what you did there? Let's rewind it. And but I think the coach had already would say it, and then goes, "You don't believe me, little Johnny? Well, look what Sterlo."
Oh.
And they keep going.
It was the whole game. It was the whole game. He used the Channel
Did
9
it have
broadcast.
the try-scoring music? Dun, 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 there we watch.
Here we go.
I'm fair income. That's not, that's
Here we
not
go.
right.
Here's a text coming in from Stormy Daniel from Prairie Wood. Boys, my spies in Melbourne who watched the Storm captain's run today said Meany was definitely on the wing. Yeah, there we
Okay.
go. Warbrick shifting to the left wing to partner with Health. There we
Okay.
go. There's some mail.
Yeah, no, Josh, it wasn't Freddie. It wasn't Freddie. Wasn't the
So
Freddie.
quick.
How do you think Peasant's going to go, Bearshead?
Okay, well, this is the thing. He's going to get absolutely torched in defence.
Big time.
I know this, and well, everyone knows that. What I've seen so far from him, I haven't really seen him tested yet in defence. Thought he went okay in the trials. He's going to have Mitch Moses as his halves partner, which is great because he can be the foil. But this is going to be a huge test because the Storm know his game
He's going to be
Inside-
opposite Jerome Hughes.
inside out, and there's no Eli Katoa.
Yeah, so
It's
that
gonna be
helps.
right. So
Big
that,
tick.
That'll be Joey Chan. But still, it's that Jerome Hughes ability. You only got to look inside and off Jerome goes. So huge test for Jonah Pezzett. Tactically, in attack and kicking game, yeah, he's very, very good. But as we know, a young kid who's in the halves gets tested on the big stage. And this, I think he might have a lot of traffic coming his way.
Tomorrow night from 7 p.m, huge grudge match to continue round one. Storm versus Eels. It's fought in the courts. It's now going to be fought at Amy Park. Bellamy, 23 straight. Round one's on the line. There's a couple of other parts that we missed, but we were talking about Jonah Pezzett before we went for a
Yes.
break, Bearshead. Here's what Craig Bellamy had to say.
I'm not quite sure we know a lot of his weaknesses. I know a lot of his strengths. He's a great kicker, with the footy and real good organiser. We know what his strengths are and how we could reduce, the product of that. So, we'll work on that. But, they've got a lot of other in the halves. He's such a good player as well. Origin player, Australian player. So, like I say, we've done a little bit of work there, and hopefully, we can reduce their effectiveness, tomorrow night.
He's too good.
Porky.
He's too good.
Heavy Porky. Not
What's the
knowing what his
opposite of
weakness-
Kmart? What's the other place? Target. That's where he'd be doing. He's getting targeted.
Yeah.
No doubt.
You know what I always wanted to know, and I'd imagine, just seeing a tip sheet on yourself.
I saw one once. Yeah, I saw
Have you
one
got a story
when I
on
was
that?
when I was in England. Wasn't a good rap.
Mine would be awful.
Wasn't a good rap.
I remember the Roosters. We were playing the Roosters one game, and when they don't even care and they just tell you what it is, and they kept on screaming at me that run at his inside shoulder. They just kept on saying run at his inside shoulder, run at his inside shoulder.
Was Finchy? The
No,
halfback?
this was 13 when they beat us
okay.
5 times the same.
Oh, so it's Jimmy Maloney.
Jimmy Maloney,
Yeah.
Piercy, and I think who would have been Mincat. Mincat was
Just
at the
going,
back. Yeah. There was a number of people just saying that they didn't even care that I heard it. They're just like, get his inside shoulder.
Sometimes it gets.
It was wigging me out.
Sometimes it gets into your head, doesn't it?
Yeah, it proper wigged me out. Another looking forward to seeing Davey Moale as well.
Yeah, this is one of Sugar's. Sugar just said this kid's. He was surprised South let him go, but now we know because Hakeem was coming. So Davey Moale, he's a type of player. Jack Hetherington, he's not playing, is he?
I think he's extended bench.
Okay.
He's extended bench, so he could still play part, they said.
The way Melbourne play and your back rowers are so important to that team, whether you're getting a short ball of Money or short ball of Jerome Hughes, they've got the new kids in, Lasardi's on the left and Joe Chan on the right. So
who would you prefer to play with out of Hughes or Munster that would complement you?
Hughes,
yeah.
I always used to say, love playing with Joey, because obviously he's immortal, but for me, it was I liked playing with Noddy.
Yeah, gotcha.
Because Noddy was always, he explained it so well. Like he would say, okay, I'm going to drop front rower under on tackle 3. I'm going to get to so-and-so, just hang outside him.
Yep.
Where Joey would go the opposite and go right foot, left foot, and you're caught on your heels, and then Joey go, where the F are you?
That was the difference between Kieran Fraud and Daly Chair Evans too. It took a while to get used to Cherry.
I'm saying Kieran was more organised.
Yeah, he was Noddy.
Yeah.
And Joey was Ches because he just do stuff off the cuff and you've got to react.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for a back row, it was a lot easier. So
Foz was the Mickey. We're going to get here on play 3, get inside that 3-man, quick play of the ball. We're going to kick it to that corner.
Okay.
He just talk you through the game.
I was saying that yesterday. I was on the sideline in Vegas and I could hear Galvin. Galvin was very vocal, but it was like it was like anarchy out there.
Yeah,
He was saying, get to
like
front.
it was erratic.
Yeah.
It was erratic.
Yeah. It was interesting, though, but he'll grow into that.
Well, if you enjoyed that, make sure you tune in to SEN 1170, Monday to Friday, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. And also follow us on all our socials, Instagram, TikTok, all of the above, at Joel and Fletch, SEN.